Welcome to Australian Kadampa Stories, where we have the opportunity to explore the spiritual lives of practitioners of Kadampa Buddhism here in Australia. I'm your host, Colleen Isaacs. I'm from Kadampa Meditation Centre Australia and Kadampa Meditation Centre Melbourne. And today I am so pleased because I get to speak to someone that I've known for more than a decade. Christielli Portela, she is our teacher in Ballarat, which is a town in regional Victoria, about an hour and a half from Melbourne. And Christielli should be such a delight to speak to because she has always impressed me with her unwavering commitment to this tradition, but also the incredible amount of energy that she has, not just for her own practice and for teaching, but also she takes on all sorts of jobs to help the center, in addition to working full-time professionally and having a family. So a lot of energy to give, and I think we're going to learn a lot from this conversation. So Christielli, hello. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you, Colleen. Thanks for the nice introduction.
Good morning. So
Good morning.
it's a little bit after 9:30 here, Friday morning. Frosty. Yeah, frosty morning, isn't it?
Quite cold in Ballarat. Normally it's extra cold.
Exactly. If it's cold here, it's colder there.
Yeah.
And you've got both kids off to school and
That's
you've cleared work, at least for the morning for us to have this conversation. So good job.
Right.
Lots of things to organize always. So tell me, Christielli, one of the things people love to know about their teachers is how did you find this tradition? How did you find dharma and this tradition specifically? And what hooked you? What got you into it?
So it was back in 2012, was early January, and actually my life was pretty good at that moment. I had lots of nice friends. I was single at the time. I was dating Tim that ended up being my husband then, and had a very good, stable career already in technology. Having fun, those things, feet and these, living in a very nice spot in Melbourne. So, but I still felt something was missing, lots of tick, I had lots of tick in my life, but something was still missing. And that was during the same time. And also I felt like you mentioned about my energy. I felt like I had so much to give, but I didn't have, like, the scope was not there yet, to explore that energy, that I knew I had in me. Anyway, so at the same time, my friend Samara, she moved to Australia from Brazil, where she met Kadampa Buddhism in Brazil. And so she invited me to go one of the weekly classes, like the first one in the year. And I thought, yeah, I was open to things, right? Because I was feeling that something's still missing in my life. And so I went to the class, and I thought it was great. It was about understanding what real happiness is. But then once we left the class, I remember I was walking with her, and first I thought, yeah, I think I knew that, I knew what real happiness is. But as I was speaking, I actually remember something that happened 5 years before that. So what happened at 5 years before that date? I had a boyfriend at the time. He and his dad had, he was a policeman. He had a very tough job because his job, part of his job as policeman, he had to deal with all the people that passed away after some like a big incident or big crime and so on. So he was kind of going through a lot of depression, but I didn't know that. And he was very reserved. But then he actually asked me a particular day, Christielli, what is happiness? So he actually precisely asked that question, what is happiness? And I didn't know.
Did you have an answer?
Well, I did have an answer, but it was not the right answer. But it actually didn't help him at all, what I said. Because he ended up going through the search of happiness, doing all sorts of crazy things as well. He was probably mid-50s or something. So he went up in this search for happiness, never ever found him, and at some point I moved to Australia and he ended up giving up and ending, his life. So when I remember that, as I was walking with my friend, and I thought, no, actually, I did not know what real happiness is. And I thought about him, and I thought I could have maybe, if I knew then, I could have saved, his life, helped to save his life. So I thought there's something touched me that day, thinking more people need to know this. I think these Buddha's teachings can help people, to save their lives, really. So that's the first moment, that touched me. I think, this is precious. This is very important for people to know this. But then a few days later, I went to the first workshop with Gendoni, the love, desires, and attachment. What was very convenient as well, because I was just starting.
Single girl, new boyfriend.
Yeah. And I think I want to make this one work because Tim is the guy I really want to hear it. Anyway, so, but when I started listening, Gendoni speaking, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. So clear, it's so light, so fun. And again, I know, actually, for what you say, when I was walking with my friend, after first class, I was in tears because I remember 5, years before that. But then during the workshop, I also want to be I was almost crying, but this time is of joy, oh my, like this is just very nice, again, feeling it. I was something very precious about, the teachings. Then I wait Gendoni at the end of the workshop to talk to him. I was like patiently waiting, saying, I want to talk to him, And now, no, by the way, I was already helping to serve the food that day too. I already think, I'm going to help this.
You're already volunteering.
I was a volunteer at my first workshop. So anyway, so I talked to Gendoni, and I said to him, at first I asked him, is that normal sometimes so happy that you want to cry? And he first joked, just because you're Brazilian. And then he said, it's because, when you so feel so much joy. And actually later, after a few years, I understood as well, when you see how kind, is of Venerable Geshe-la sharing with us really these teachings, and that when you really move our mind. And I experienced that many times after, every time I end up in tears because I can see that so kind, of him, for us to have these teachings available for us. Anyway, so, and then Gendoni said, because there was this beautiful hall in South Melbourne, and it was only kind of 1/3 full. And then Gendoni said, I don't exactly remember all the details, but he said something like, my wish is to see a hall like this full of people, hearing these teachings. And I thought, yes, I'm going to help this, I'm going to make sure this, I can contribute for this to happen as well. So say, yeah, you can count on me. And then straight away after I joined the foundation program to study Joyful Path of Good Fortune from the beginning. And I was already volunteering, already very committed, going to every single event I could possibly go to. And it just makes sense for me. Always, since then, always felt like that was the thing was missing, for me, because now I can put the energy that I have, and help to touch the life of so many, people, connect them to these beautiful teachings, and hoping it makes a difference in their life as well. They can be actually happy, actually fulfill their wish to be happy, not just wanting, to be happy. Yeah, so basically that's how it started.
So it touched your heart straight away, and you wasted no time to jump in and get involved.
That's it. It made sense. It really thought, why not? This is everyone, is a volunteer, and such a beautiful purpose, so meaningful, the purpose of spreading these teachings. And it's very, it's like for everyone, really. Right? So I have lots of friends because I grew up as Catholic. So my mom is still, Catholic, and I have friends of other religions, so on. But that doesn't mean that I can just mention to them something, in skillful way, but I still share with them some teachings that works for me, and I know it works for other people, and works for them too if they, if they want to practice and so on. Like my mom, when the beginning of the pandemic was, I could actually hear joined some teachings from Brazil, the Kadampa temple in Brazil, where it was another very good experience because I learned, Buddhism. I started in English, right? Not my first language. And then when I actually heard the teachings in Portuguese, it was almost like at another moment as well, like, wow, this is incredible. It went even deeper. It was very, very special as well, hearing my mother language. But anyway, so I told my mom, I want to give to you as a Mother's Day gift, class, online class. So see how if you like it or not. So she loved it. Like she really loved it. My sisters ended up joining as well. They loved it. My mom still do it. She still, attend classes because she doesn't live near any classes. So she still do the online classes and she loves it. And she often tells me, I'm so grateful that you gave me that gift,
That's
that day.
wonderful.
So she still practice her religion, she still practice, go to church and so on. I think, I'm not actually sure. But anyway, she does still pray for the people, but for other beings. So it is quite beautiful to see how the impact these teachings can bring to people's life.
Yeah, everybody welcome. We always say that, but it's wonderful to hear about, people from other traditions or other faiths, really benefiting from these teachings too. Because it's true, it is everybody welcome.
That's right. And I think everyone needs to be comfortable with that. That's what I try to, when I teach in Ballarat, I try to, tell them, look, this is for everyone, and you don't have to take on board everything, you hear in the classes. Like, try to pick even just one thing as like a personal advice to you, right? And just try to remember that, just to apply that in your life. And so gentle, I find. And so logical as well, because I'm actually a very logical person. And I love to know the whys, the hows, and that's Buddhism teachings like that, just tell you, do it. Yeah, perfect. My favorite book is actually How to Understand the Mind, because it's very incredible logic.
Good one. No, not everybody would say that, Christielli. It's back to that unwavering devotion and commitment that I mentioned at the start. That's wonderful.
And just because it's logical, isn't it? Let's just say how you have to do it. Why first, start with the why, how, and then to give you all the support we needed to keep progressing.
And it explains everything. Like it's a diagnostic tool, isn't it?
It's the manual. It's the manual. Right. Yeah.
The manual for the mind.
Yeah.
So was there a meditation that you loved from the start, or do you have a meditation that's always been your favorite?
Yeah, so that comes back again to that book. What happened is I was, at the very beginning, I was too close to the idea of, past and future lives and so on. And I actually told that friend, just don't talk to me about past and future lives because I've been already and so on. And then eventually I started studying about the mind and doing the meditation on the mind, the nature, the function of the mind and the continuum of the mind. And again, through logical reason, say, why not? Like the mind is a non-physical phenomena, Of course, we're here just in passing through this life, and it makes completely sense when you study what the mind is. That's it. The absolutely possible past, future lives, and that makes sense about understand karma. I find that when I meditate and consider and reflect on what is the mind, the nature of the mind, the function of the mind, the continuum of the mind, everything starts making sense. It's like, when you try to build a puzzle, and normally I do, at least, I start with the borders, to make it, start with the easiest part.
Start at the frame.
Right, the frame, start with the frame, and everything takes less easier. Everything, fits easier from there, starting point. And I feel like the meditation of the mind, if people understand what the mind is, it's like that frame, build that frame, that everything, all the other Buddhist teachings, it makes sense. So I have to say that's probably my favorite one. I love to teach about that. I think it's because it's just feel liberating. And if people don't understand what mind is, we still become very limited in how much change, we can introduce to our life. We can still, of course, benefit from Buddha's teachings, but there is a whole new level that we can achieve when we, that we understand and experience what mind is.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, it's the thing that determines all of our experiences, and yet we don't understand it very well.
That's right.
Without these teachings.
Yeah, like when you have family, I've had family. When I'm grumpy, I'm seeing my kids as annoying, but when we understand, hang on, it's my mind that is projecting their way. Yes, they could be behaving in a way that is, not nice, but it still is my mind that is determining they are annoying, So it's very practical to understand that it's my mind shaping, the reality. And I can, for me, I find easily you can change, if I bring back, no, it's my mind, it's not them, it's me, And then from that space, you can talk to them, of course, can say things and, but there is quite a different power that comes, like last night, for example, sometimes I think I tell like seems like sometimes it's like a comedy show, with kids. Like one crying because of such a small thing, another one, and then when the other one stops, the other one, like, this is crazy. But it's not always I can just laugh about it. Definitely not in front of them because they would be grumpy. But last night, Joy was crying because he broke this thing and he was pretty sad about it. Matilda cried because, I don't know, something small as well. And so I went to the bedroom and I actually laughed by myself, like, this is so, what a funny, like, situation. But not from the point of view of them, of course, I understand that. But I was feeling still quite light about it. I was not frustrated because they were, angry because something so small. And then they came inside the bedroom and they sensed, of course they feel Mama was all right, Mama was good, and that was it, like they changed as well very quickly. And then we end up having a very nice still rest of the evening. So, I think is that really my mind impacting? Yes, it does have. My mind is definitely shaping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go to those, but really, I can't believe it. Yes. But it's so nice when you think, yes, my mind.
Such a relief.
Yeah. I know.
So it sounds like your practice is, key to your parenting and just, to your life, of course. How has your practice or your spiritual life changed since having a family? Because I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I normally say that it's very easy, to be patient, to to have to be mainly patient if you don't have all these little challenges in form of kids, constantly at your face. I thought I was a very patient person before kids came along. Tell you, I thought, wow, I nailed that one until they came along. And then I thought, wow, no, actually, there's another level that I need to develop. There is definitely another level, another level, another level. But look, I thought it was essential. I never suffered from any postnatal depression or anything, major after I had the kids because I was constantly, applying those teachings. And we know early motherhood is very challenging, mainly with the first one, not sleeping much, worrying about this or that and so on. But yeah, it changed in a way that I had to practice much more actively, practice I felt like much more, rely on, the teachings much more because it's like an intensive training having, the kids and husband, kids and husband. It's constantly training, all the little things they do and so on. If you're not careful, you can get annoyed very quickly, very easily. So if you transform all those little, like more like opportunities to train the mind to keep progressing, it is actually fantastic. I was actually reflecting another day because Joy is 9, Matilda is 7. I think soon enough they're gonna be teenager. They probably don't want to do, to do anything with much at all. And those are little opportunities for me to keep training will be actually less and less because they won't be around me as much. I'm sure it'll be all the challenge, but I was still thinking, this is such a good opportunity for me, to train when they are around, because there's never, I think, a day that you feel like everyone's just peaceful at home, woohoo, that everything's going well. But again, it's good. I see there's an opportunity. I see that is actually quite a blessing in a way to have them and superpower, like increase even more my practice.
Yeah. Even just getting the kids off to school in the morning is a mental minefield, right?
That's right. Now, look, this is definitely me. Because like Matilda is very different from me. So she's the 7 years old. And she's very slow. She does take her time. Like my son and me is more like he's more like me, pumping energy straight away early in the morning, like woohoo. Like we almost anyway, she's much more, calm. And in terms of like she takes her time. She put, for example, peanut butter in the bread and takes long time to do that and taste it. And like almost like half an hour to making a sandwich. So for me, it's always like, it's definitely a challenge, see that and thinking, come on, hurry up,
Go.
you don't want to get you late to school, like, but, and then again, I'm thinking, yeah, I can try to guide her, definitely try not to lose my peace, but guide her to be a bit more practical about the things she needs to do. It's not like she doesn't need to do in the same speed as me, and that comes to acceptance too, right? Because I have to accept them as well, the way they do things. It does not need to be my way, but just guide them, maybe just adjust, a little bit here and there. So it becomes a bit more practical, not just late every day to school. Yeah, so for the moment we wake up, yes, with the kids, it's challenge on. Woo-hoo!
Maybe after this you can give me some tips because I have a slow poke too.
Now, do you?
Yeah. Like, come on. School, work, lunch. Come on.
I know. It's funny, like, isn't it? Because I actually realized more lately that because I have this built-in system, if you like, I'm super organized, but like I can get things done pretty quickly. But I think so. It's hard for me to sometimes see like Matilda that she's definitely not like me in that respect. But it's fine. But I also appreciate being like this because I can, like you said, I mean, I can do a lot for the centers as well because I can get things done, and but with quality as well. I think it's important to say that because when we all volunteer our time, we try to do the best we can, of course, and we're trying to do in the way with good quality because all the people, this is for everyone, all the volunteer we do is actually for everyone and hopefully last, for a long time. So when I do what I do for the centers, I try to make sure it is done properly and so on, even though I try to go with a high speed, but done properly.
So tell me about some of the things that you do. So you teach, of course, but what are some of the other things that you do for the center?
So since last year, I took over the, like, if you like, management of the website, their website, and they have a few things on the go related to that. So I need to update, the website. There's a few things in the back end that I have to do. And some weeks is quite a lot that it needs to do. But what I love it, I don't mind as well. Like I actually really enjoy work with technology, and it becomes even more meaningful now because I can use the skill I have, to help the center. So that's one of the major thing at the moment, apart from teaching and preparing, is, as you know, our commitment on Sundays to go to the study program. That is, it takes me almost a day to get there, study, and come back.
It's what, 2 hours, or is it more than 2 hours for you each way?
To go there is 2 hours driving to get to the center, and then on the way back is always more because there's more cars around. So I leave home around 6:30 and come back home close to 4 on the Sundays when we have classes. And yeah, and of course, I try to be conscious then to make sure I give attention to the kids,
Sure.
on team on other days, and I don't want them to feel like I'm the mom. They just go out and do things. Actually, Matilda, the other day, she was telling me, Mom, how the new name retreat. I had the new name retreat, and I was here doing by myself at home, and she was saying, Mom, um, do you think I'm gonna come back and you're gonna become a Buddha just like that? Like you become a Buddha? I say, wouldn't that be nice? I said, wouldn't that be nice? And then, but she said, no. And then she started crying. I said, no, but I don't want you to become Buddha this weekend. And she said, why is that, Matilda? Because I won't see you anymore. And I think, no, it's actually quite the opposite. If I become a Buddha, you're definitely going to see me, and so other people, I'm not going to disappear. So I try to be conscious of that. You still be present to the family, so they don't think I'm just, Christielli just always, out, but not spending time with them. What I think we found a nice balance. Tim is very supportive as well, and he feel like he likes, knowing that I'm going to go and trying to improve my skills, and so I come back a better mom, a better wife, a better person.
You got the support of your family, which of course,
That's right.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that wouldn't be possible really if Tim was not on board, for me to do, all the things I do, but yeah, very grateful for that.
That's wonderful. Can we talk a little bit about teaching? So, how did you start teaching? How did you find it when you first started teaching? Tell us a little bit about your journey as a teacher.
So teaching is one interesting thing. When I was a kid, I used to remember I never want to be a teacher in my life.
And then COVID happened. Just kidding. And you had
And
to
I used
homeschool your children.
That's right. But I think I was a bit naughty kid, in the school. So I definitely, I don't want to have to deal with that, people like me. But anyway, but then, so I never had that thought, I want to be a teacher. But then one day, Gendoni asked me to, just to cover for a teacher that was not going to be able to teach. What I felt like, really? Like, I was only in the tradition for over a year and think, are you sure? Like, but anyway, just one day, that's fine. I can do it. So I went there, I taught one day. But then, so this was a Saturday. So then what happened? On Tuesdays, they have the free Federation Square class. So, and I used to work very close, like 20 minutes walk to the Federation Square in Melbourne. So I taught first time ever on Saturday, and then on Tuesday I received a call from Gendoni around 11:30, and I think
on Tuesday, I know where this is going.
but when I received, but I still didn't know. When I just Gendoni, interesting, okay. Hi Gendoni, say how are you? And I said, Christielli, the train's late. Because he was getting the train to teach Federation Square. And I said, how can I help you? And then he said, and as I was saying that, how can I help you? My heart already wait, like, oh, no, he's not going to ask. For sure, he's not going to ask, right? And he said, can you go to Federation, teach there? And back then it was like 50 people, thinking, no. I say no. And then he said, that's the wrong answer. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, look, if no one goes and teach, they might never come back. No one might never come back anymore. And look, remember my commitment to help to spread that. And I said, I don't want that to happen. And say, all right, and then I remember I had the notes of my class that I taught on Saturday with me. And I said, can I read the meditation? Can I re-guide them reading it? And he said, of course you can, And I said, all right, I go. So basically I just had time to get my notes, walk to the Federation Square, and I praying, like my heart was pretty, I normally am not an anxious person, but my heart, I tell you, was almost feeling it. Anyway, so I went there very nervous. I ended up teaching and giving a little teaching and guided meditation. What I found is still with a lot of, nerves going on, was enjoyable. And then after that, it took I don't know, 2 days, I was still experience the adrenaline, of
Mm-hmm.
being asked to teach just all of a sudden. But I felt like, well, if I done that, I think I can do it again. I can do it again. And he, of course, asked me again and again until I came to Ballarat, moved to Ballarat, and there was already a class here. I thought, great, I'm going to attend that class.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, oh, that teacher's leaving. He's going to be back in Sydney, leaving Sydney. Can you take over that class? And I thought, but by that stage, I thought, yes, for sure. Thank you. And I started enjoying it. So at the beginning, I was very nervous about it, but I love it. I actually love it, really do, because you see, how impact these teachings has in people. And when they share with me, I find so, wonderful the changes and, the difference it makes in their life. So I love it. It was quite hard at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I still felt it's possible, and often I mention this to new teachers, even when you're nervous, doesn't matter, just do it, still go, because it goes away. If you prepare your mind, do what you have to do, the praise before and so on, as you start teaching, will go away, and so highly recommend to everyone if people have their wish or not. I didn't have the wish, but I'm up.
This tradition is wonderful at using skills that we have and that we don't know that we have.
That's right, isn't it? What is
And
great?
sorry?
What is great, isn't it? To be able to develop a skill for a meaningful reason.
So tell me, how long have you been teaching that branch class for? Because it's been a decade, hasn't it? I mean, there was that COVID break, but it's been a good 10 years that you've been teaching that branch class, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, just over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I love it. We're lucky we're not that close to Melbourne, so it's good to be able to have these classes for people in Ballarat, in the community around, and it's very nice.
And tell us what night of the week and what time is class? Those who are in regional Victoria and want to come check it out.
So it's Wednesdays night, so from 7 to 8:30. So it's in the main street in Ballarat, called 3rd Street. There's a very lovely old building called Ballarat Mechanics Institute. So we have this, we do actually in the library, what is quite nice actually space too. But they have a big room. It's coming up actually a public talk with Kelsang Luma on the 26th of June. So, and then we go to the same building, but another massive room there. Yeah, so everyone's welcome to come.
That's wonderful. Well, Christielli, I've loved this conversation. I mean, I've known you for years. It's not the first time we've spoken about these things, but it's nice to have some dedicated space to really hear about your journey and, again, get some of that wonderful energy that you bring to this tradition. So thank you so much. Check out her class on Wednesday evenings or the public talk at the end of June with Kelsang Luma. So Christielli, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Colleen.